Hi, I'm Jessie Abbott, your host of Valley News Now, and I have two lovely ladies with me today, JC and Sarah, and we're talking about World Breastfeeding Week, and they were just on North Dakota today, so I accosted them in the hall because this is a really important topic for so many people, and we want it to be, something that's accessible for more people and easy, all of those things. So let's get started with the event you've got going on Monday. So tell us about that, please.
Yeah, we have a family celebration on Monday at Roll Farms from 4 to 7. There's food trucks and face painting.
Oh my gosh.
And businesses and community resources will have tables with activities. We're having Dr. Graham from Concordia is going to do a science demonstration.
So I'm going to go to the Facebook page while you keep talking. And so a lot of people are watching, watching online right now. And it's just nice. You always think, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to that later. So go to it right now. Fargo-Moorhead Area Breastfeeding Association. It is the World, so excuse me, clicked on the wrong thing. World Breastfeeding Week Family Celebration.
Yes, and it's already Monday, so then that is something that's very much soon coming up.
Yes.
And then too, just that JC's gonna be taking a picture too at 6 o'clock, a group breastfeeding picture. So we want to do that too.
So who's all invited to this event?
Community-wise, families.
Yeah,
any families who feed their babies, which is basically
everyone,
right?
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah, should be. I was just say hopefully.
Yeah, because when we talk about World Breastfeeding Week, we also talk about the challenges that come with breastfeeding, and so we acknowledge that there's babies being fed all different ways.
Yes.
And so anyone who's a fan of breastfeeding, whether or not you breastfed for 2 days or 2 months or 2 years, you're welcome to come.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so everybody can come, and I think even if it isn't in your life right now, like I was telling them, my kids are big. That was once a very big part of my life, as it is kind of all-consuming for a little while. But you're interested too, and you have girlfriends that are doing that, and maybe someday grandchildren and all of that. So it's so important for our community. So that is Monday at Row Farm, 4 to 7. It sounds like an amazing time. Lots of fun, science activities, food trucks. I mean, you had me at food trucks. Really, food trucks and boobs. There you go.
It's not much.
I just had to say it on the air.
And it's free, and it's free too.
It's free.
There's nothing, for just come and check us out, and see what there might be something you learn at one of the booths. Activities for kids, like I said, face painting's always fun.
Kids love
Kids always
that.
feel so proud when they get their face painted.
Do. Yeah.
You get a free cookie.
Mm-hmm. Again, you had me.
Say it. You provide the milk, we provide the cookies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Monday at Row Farm, you provide the milk, we provide the cookies.
Yes.
I love you guys. This is awesome. So on Facebook too, I'm just going to pop over there. They've also got, this is the event page, but then they've also got their Facebook page, and it's the Fargo-Moorhead Area Breastfeeding Association. So tell us, what does that mean? What do you, somebody's interested in breastfeeding, they're about to have a new baby, or maybe they're having a little difficulty with their first newborn, or second or third. Every baby's different. Sometimes problems develop later. You had an easy time with your first, and then the second one's like, I'm not going to latch on. So tell us, where do I go? What do I do?
So the Fargo-Moorhead Area Breastfeeding Association is an association of care providers within the FM area.
Okay.
And we do have resources and community-minded resources for people to locate. Personally, I am an IBCLC in private practice.
Okay.
And so if someone is looking for help and they want to get help in their own home, they can find me.
Wow.
And there's other IBCLCs in private practice in town as well. We go to their homes and we help them troubleshoot. We do follow-up visits. We do all of the same things that you can get when you're, just having the baby, having lactation.
But sometimes right in the hospital, and it's great that you have that in the hospital. Yep. But I remember having a home visit with, I think it was my third, and so like I said, it that came from personal experience. That sometimes it can go really well, and then the third one's like, not really happening. And she helped me so much. I mean, she came over one time even, and that was just phenomenally helpful. So since you are here, though, I would like to hear your give me a business plug, girl.
Sure. So my business is Northern Prairie Lactation Services.
Oh yes. Wait. I asked about nipples. I mean, Northern Plains Lactation
Prairie,
Services.
Northern
Prairie, sorry.
I know,
Thank
it works
you.
both ways, though. It really does, because we're in the plains. I have been open since 2021, but I've also been a breastfeeding supporter and counselor since 2010.
Okay,
but
so you've seen it all.
I've seen a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Yep. And I absolutely love what I do. I get to go into the home and I get to help a family who's fairly vulnerable.
Oh yes,
and having
it's a very vulnerable time of life. Even if things are going, by the book, it's just a very vulnerable time.
Yep. And super isolating too. Motherhood is so isolating. So being able to go in the home and I help with these families has been really fun.
That's awesome. So they can contact you. Would the best time probably be while you're pregnant, waiting for the baby?
Yep.
Okay.
I do prenatal visits, one-on-one prenatal visits, and we talk about health history and ways to get breastfeeding off to a good start right from the beginning.
It does make such a difference.
It makes all the difference. A lot of my prenatal clients I only see once or twice afterwards because they got off to a good start. So they're up and running when baby comes.
Yeah, because it is, again, I was really pleased with the support that I had at that time, and it does make all the difference to know that, okay, this is how you do. And I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but up here we're a little conservative, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So, I remember one of the classes I took beforehand was just like, she literally was just like, touch your breast. And everyone's like,
no,
we can't do that. We are from the Midwest. So just getting even comfortable with your own female body is a huge part of it too. And so how great to have somebody go like, yeah, this is okay. This is natural. This is what you do. And then, okay, so say somebody else is watching who's like, okay, it's a month in, I'm really struggling. Is it over for me? Maybe it's just over for me. Or should I give you a call and maybe I got a shot at this still?
Oh, absolutely. I see babies of all ages. I've seen 6-month-old babies with parents having, they had something that came up that they wanted to help figure out. So I visited with them. But oftentimes, if we think back to our own mothering journeys, have we figured it out by a month? I sure hadn't. So
no. Like I said, third time around, I was still like, okay, what's happening?
Right, I know, exactly. So I will see babies of all ages. I do have some insurance that I even accept to make it easy for families to pay for their coverage.
So it isn't, sometimes you think independent, oh my gosh, that's just full out of pocket. But some insurances may cover it. So it's worth a call. It's worth a visit to come and see. So go and see JC Northern Prairie Lactation Services. Just think nipples, NPLS. I'm sure you can probably Google that and find it. Well,
maybe
I didn't say that. Yeah, I did not say that.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
And Sarah, thank you for being here too. So tell us about the association.
Okay, so great. So FM Area Breastfeeding Association. So our mission is protect and promote and support breastfeeding in our community. So we want to do all those things.
Yeah.
We're made up of lots of people from different disciplines, like JC said, different professionals. So we have independent consultants, if I can talk, consultants. We also have, healthcare systems represented. We have, because you can get help there, you can get help through your public health, you can get help at WIC. There's also the Lychee League.
That's right.
So we have help out there in JC. And then with my focus, so I am a nurse for childcare. So that's what I do. So I work for Childcare Aware, and I'm a nurse for them. So I help maybe the next passing the baton, meaning, so now you're going back to work. So then that's where the theme is also, making a difference for working parents. So we want to help support those people that are going back to work. We don't want people to stop.
Right, and you feel like that a lot of times because, maybe, again, with, I think, the conservative nature of our environment up here, sometimes we don't even want to ask, then you have to say the word breast if I asked if I could breastfeed, and it's just kind of intimidating. And like we were saying too, motherhood can be really isolating, but it doesn't have to be. And there are all these resources out there. And so we just need to learn to reach out and where to reach out.
Right.
So you also work with employers.
Well, I don't, but I know that there's help for them.
There's help for them, yes.
So my role is childcare. So my big messages are always, for those breastfeeding moms to have that conversation with your childcare program. Do you know how to take care of breast milk?
Yeah.
Because don't assume they do.
That's a good point.
Say, do you know how it should be stored, how it should be handled, how I'd like it served? Do you know that, babies are going to eat less amounts more often? It looks different than formula-fed babies, and nothing's wrong with them, but you just might find like, oh my gosh, they're not every 4 hours,
Right,
right. They might need more. They're going to have different bursts in their growth too that you might notice all of a sudden they're going to eat more than less, and then how can I work with mom so I'm not giving baby a full bottle and then mom comes and she wants to nurse and then, how can we do things well, and support them, and then also just to have that conversation then to prepare your baby with the bottle before you go to childcare, because that's the other thing. Even though you're breastfeeding, line.
Yep.
If you're not able to breastfeed that baby, could you help your baby be more successful at childcare by preparing them, you know, by taking a bottle?
What a good point. I mean, that just like any of us for anything that we're about to do, let's help prepare. Let's set ourselves up for success and the baby up for success.
Because I've been in those classrooms where, you know, where those childcare providers all of a sudden have a baby that was breastfed, never introduced the bottle, and anytime you go to childcare, it's stressful on that baby anyway because they're in a new environment. They're with new caregivers.
Everything is different, smells different, looks different.
So they're really at a high anxiety point anyway.
Yeah.
So if we can at least let feeding be a little bit better, you know, and even like sending something that smells like mommy with her, you know, like could it be just like, so when they are feeding baby.
Right, you've got a blankie or you've got whatever that is bed next to mom.
Yeah, just something that smells like mommy, you know, when you're nursing, you know.
All these things just come flooding back, you know. My kids are in their 20s for the average age, and it's just, it's all just flooding back.
But then I'm also, too, just to tell you, so I'm a nurse, so I have to tell you that sleeping with a blanket isn't appropriate, meaning that's not safe for American Academy of Pediatrics. So you would just feed with the blanket, you know, when you're feeding baby. And then, I'm sorry, the blanket should be put aside.
No, it's okay. It's good. We want to know the safe way. We do.
So then still lay them flat without a blanket when they're sleeping. But just know that, you know, just having that familiar scent would help. And then we just want to also encourage, which that's part of, there's people on our association too that help with businesses becoming more infant friendly. And so that's where like Michelle Draxton, you know, if you go to FM Breastfeeding.
So we're going to go there real quick as well. And like I said, it's just so easy to pop over when it's right in your mind and you're thinking about it. So we went to, so it's actually right on the City of Fargo's website. And we've got 4 employers right here, breastfeeding for employers, for childcare providers, for moms. Wow, this is really impressive. We talked very briefly, there's grants to help out. And what a great thing that is for especially small businesses, but really any business.
Any business, just to make that, you know, just to
make it a little easier.
Absolutely, and just to, could you create an area that is maybe not the bathroom that you're going to have your employer or employee, pump if they're pumping, you know, could they go into a place that maybe had some privacy, a comfortable chair, could there be a sink, could you have, you know, so you can be as sanitary as you can be. Is there a refrigerator that I could store my breast milk, you know, and just having that time to pump when it's time for mommy to pump. Instead of being like, at 4 o'clock you can have time to pump when you're engorged to, you know. That,
and you can't get the pump to latch on either.
No, because that's not pleasant. So, but just try to be encouraging and supportive, and you know, and that's just what we're trying to, I guess we're trying to build a whole network of people around a person who's breastfeeding to make them feel like, here's your community.
You're not alone, you're not isolated, it's not weird, it's a totally normal thing to do. And I think that education piece that you're talking about with employers, if you haven't breastfed before, you don't know all those things. You don't know that there's a time when I really could pump that would be ideal for me to pump, and that can I have to do it at a time maybe, but you're gonna have these other issues. And privacy, I think if you haven't breastfed yourself, you think of it as a bathroom thing, like, oh, that's a private thing, but it's not really a bathroom thing.
No, because that's kind of gross.
That's kind of gross.
If you think about it,
it's a totally different space that you need, and a sink would be great, and a fridge would be great, but it's different than like, oh, well, that's private, that goes in the bathroom.
And you don't want a place like we were talking before where you're not worried, or you're worried, is the door going to fly open, or someone to be rattling at the door to get in, and you're like, no, I'm not quite done. I'm trying to breastfeed, or I'm trying to pump now, you know. It just doesn't work well. So can we have a place that I can just chill out, relax, know I'm in a safe place, that I can pump, I can get done faster. I think employers are going to find you're going to have better employees, because that is, mommies, I'm sorry, but our kids come first, you know.
They do.
And if you can help us be the best mommies we can be away from them, you're going to have a much better employee. Because we're going to be able to give you our best, because we know at least we've done our best to take care of our little people who we love more than anybody. So if we can try to do that, you know, like I just said, it's a group effort and a community effort.
And what loyalty you have towards the company that whatever need it is of yours goes, I see you, this is the need you have, how can I help you meet that? How can I support you? And so, yeah, for employers, this is a no-brainer. I mean, this is something you really want to do. And again, find out what that person needs. It might not be what you think they need.
Right.
You know, it might look a little different than like, oh no, that's not for the bathroom. I mean, I remember with my first, who was 23, when there weren't breastfeeding, you know, that was kind of like a brand new thing. And you'd breastfeed in so many bathroom stalls. And it's just disgusting, you know? I mean, you wouldn't eat in a bathroom stall. You know?
No.
You got to think of it more like that. Where would you eat?
Yeah,
You know?
and as moms, we all know we're gonna, at the end of the day, we're gonna do what we need to do for our baby.
We are. Yeah,
You know,
that comes
whether
number one, no matter
number
what.
one, so we're doing it. But why when we can do other things? And that's why, too, like I just love our association in the way that to try to just that awareness, like there is, you can go to your healthcare provider and get help. You can go to public health. You can go to WIC. You can have an independent like JC. You know that there's options. What is your comfort? You know, and where do you feel comfortable?
To come right into your home.
Yes.
How wonderful is that?
Right, because you feel. I mean, like I said before, my first child didn't go so good. My second child, I did so much better. But meaning when you're in the middle of the night and you feel like so alone, and then you're
the baby's crying, and you
feel like a failure. And we don't want people to stop.
No,
I mean,
no.
so we're
and you don't need to feel that way. It's okay to know that there are issues. It's not like bottle feeding. You know, it's not like, okay, here we go. It's just going to all happen. Yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. And each child is a totally different experience.
Absolutely.
You know, my second one was like just hungry. And so it was just like easy peasy, you know. It was like right out of the textbook, this many minutes, you know, just like you're supposed to do. But the other two, not so much. And then you're like, oh. I was telling these guys too, in my previous life, I was a dietitian prior to going into media. And so you're like, I have this knowledge and I know what they're supposed to do. And then it's kind of a little nerve-wracking when you think, oh, they're not doing it just the way that I was told they're supposed to. But there's so much help here right in our area. Like you said, you mentioned so many different organizations. So you can go to Facebook, and we've got this World Breastfeeding Week, this family celebration at Rural Farm, 4 to 7. You bring the milk, they'll bring the cookies. Can't help it, it's funny. And JC's got this great business too, Northern Prairie Lactation Services. And then tell me the name of the association again, please.
FM Area Breastfeeding Association.
Oh, easy, I'm making it hard.
Well,
FM
that's
Area
okay.
Breastfeeding
It's hard to
Association.
remember. But yeah, we have Facebook, we've got a website, and like I said, especially that way, at least if you find there, you're going to find your connections if you want information.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, employers, parents.
And the connection to going back to work, you know, because I really think a lot of moms, it's just like, so you do it at home, even if you get that whole 3 months off, you know, you're like, okay, well, it's just going to be easier on everyone if I just switch to bottle feeding, but it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
Yeah, and it's better for everybody. So yeah, it's a good thing. Keep those immune systems going and all the amazing benefits, which we didn't even really talk about those, but they're on the websites. You can go there. Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much. Again, we have JC and Sarah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And you can watch their segment too on North Dakota Today. They were on a little bit before, and so that's on our Facebook and online at valleynewslive.com, or of course on our app as well. So thank you so much. I'm Jessie Ammett, your host of Valley News Now. Thanks, you guys.